Hello all. During this global outbreak of COVID-19, the world is swiftly moving towards technology dependence. And during these difficult times, working from home, controlling things via internet have become the new normal. During this difficult time, learning IoT or say Internet of Things is the absolute necessity. And there is no better way to learn IoT than to make a weather station. So today in this video, we will learn how to make a weather station that will basically monitor your temperature, humidity as well as rainfall, and we will integrate all of this using an Android app. So yeah, let's get started. Guys, this video is going to be a little bit complicated, but don't worry, I have explained things in a very simple way so that you can understand. Also, we have divided this video into appropriate time codes so that you can scroll around the video. And if you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing, it's free. Also, press the notification button to never miss any updates from Mission Critical. In this project, we need to create a hardware interface between our control point and internet, which basically means we need two node points or say two devices, one at sensor side and another at control side. The medium would be internet. We can also use a 2.4 GHz radio interface, which could be done using nRF24 LO1 module. In case if you want to create a small data center which can collect data from like 1 kilometer or so, but that could be a video for another tutorial. For our build, we will need a microcontroller that can read our sensor data, send it to internet and also react to any input received from internet. Most capable candidate for this task will be a Node MCU which has ESP8266 Wi-Fi enabled board along with USB interface and complementary electronics. The best part is that it can be programmed using an Arduino IDE. In one of our previous video tutorial, we have briefly discussed how to set up Node MCU. For sensor, we will use a DHT11 sensor to sense temperature and humidity. We have also covered the basics of DHT sensor. You can find all the important links in the description below. For rain, we will use a generic rain sensor which uses conductive property of water to change the resistance and indicate if it's raining or not. Also, it indicates how intensely it is raining. It comes as a set with an op-amp to provide more accurate calibration, which gives us digital or analog corresponding outputs. It has a potentiometer that can be used to adjust the sensitivity of sensor, which we will calibrate by pouring a few drops of water on the sensor and adjusting the pot until we see the LED glow. For now, connections are very simple. We will power DHT11 and rain sensor with 3.3 volt and ground pins of Node MCU. Connect the data pin of DHT11 to D5 and rain sensor to D2. Proper connection diagram can be found in the blog post which is linked in description. To control or monitor our sensor in real time, we will need two nodes. One node is our microcontroller that connects to internet via Wi-Fi router or say wireless access point. But we need a second node or point to store data or process it, for which we have quite a lot of options like Adafruit IO, Blink IFTTT, MQTT, Firebase, etc. My initial goal was to push the data on my website server of Minoff.in, which I tried with Firebase and a Firebase WordPress integration plugin. I won't lie to you, I failed terribly. I won't blame the plugin for that, but I couldn't get it working like expected. So I scrapped that idea and switched to Firebase and MIT App Inventor to make an Android app that would display our data. And it turned out to be awesome. Now let me walk you through this entire process. First, go to firebase.google.com. You can use your Google account and get started. We will start a new project by naming and completing the follow-up steps till you see the dashboard. Now go to database option on the left side. Remember, we have real-time data to deal with, so we will create a real-time database. Now it asks if we want a authentication or not. Since we will make an Android app and make it publicly available, I choose the test mode, which will keep our authentication off. It is less secure but works for my application. Now the database URL is very important for us since we will push our sensor data to this node or server. So for now, copy this URL. Next, open the code found on my blog page and paste the URL that was copied earlier in firebase_host definition line without the HTTPS and \. Make sure you remove it or else the data won't be directed correctly. Other than that, we need internet connectivity, for which we have to enter our SSID and password of Wi-Fi in definition lines. Rest of the code is very simple and self-explanatory, wherein we are basically pushing all the data from our sensor on real-time database of Firebase. We used MIT App Developer so that you can easily reproduce this project for yourself. We have attached the .aia file, which you can import into MIT App Developer and easily customize it for your project. Simply import the project and go to the build option, which will show you your link and QR code. Open this on your phone and install it. We can do this entire task with Blink, which indeed looks better in terms of UI, but Blink is not completely free. It comes with lots of restrictions, yet the coding and the backend work of Blink is way easier than MIT and definitely is useful for making simple switch projects. With that being said, I would conclude the app part and move ahead. We need to mount the system in balcony or some place with access to environment. I can't power this system with an USB wire, of course, so it makes sense to use a battery. Best option would be a lithium polymer battery, but my balcony is home to lots of birds and squirrels. I can't afford accidental fire here. So safer option would be a lithium ion battery, which adds up a little weight but offers higher capacity and safety as well. I have this lithium ion cell with 2000 mAh capacity, and I will add a TP4056, which is a lithium ion charging module along with it. After looking at Node MCU's datasheet, we get to know that Node MCU uses up to 170 milliamperes of current. At 2000 mAh capacity of battery and current draw of 170 milliamps, we get a use time of around 11 hours, which is not much, but luckily we have a deep sleep mode in our Node MCU, which basically puts our system in deep sleep to reduce our power consumption. Simply add esp.deepsleep in bracket the time in milliseconds at the end of our loop. Upload the code and now connect D0 to reset pin. Do not connect the D0 and reset pin before uploading the code, else you will get an uploading error. During the sleep mode, our system uses 8 milliamps, which turns down the overall current consumption of the system and brings the battery life to 10 days ideally. We can remove the LEDs on Node MCU, DHT11 and rain sensor to further reduce the power consumption. But honestly, 10 days is fine with me and I'm very happy with this system. As of yet, the project was on breadboard, so we need to convert it on a PCB, for which you can order it online using PCB services or use a general purpose board. Since I was short on time, I went with rather unprofessional way, that is creating a general purpose board. Yet I have designed a PCB for you guys and added the Gerber files on my blog page. Link is in the description. Now that we are done with our PCB and code, it's time to test everything with our app. The system is working well, it is optimized in power, but it looks like a mess. Let's try to bring this entire system in an enclosure. But I don't have a 3D printer, so I would use a plastic container to stuff everything inside. I made an appropriate slot for DHT11 sensor. And I chose to mount the rain sensor independent of the box to reduce the chances of any unnecessary water entering into the system via slots. After all of the drilling, cutting was done, I painted the enclosure with a high temperature silver paint and finally used a few zip ties to secure this system to my grill. Finally, after doing all of the above steps, we can easily monitor the temperature at balcony from anywhere in the world. Just to get a gist of this, I told my friends to install this app on their phone and see how the app updates the sensor data in real time. With that being said, this project and video comes to an end. If you made it till this segment of the video, I'm sure you learned a thing or two. If you enjoyed this detailed yet fun IoT project, do give this video a like. If you feel this video helped you in any way, share it with your friends. That will help us grow and definitely it boosts our morale. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.